We are Group ActionNow. This is our final presentation video. Our project title has been revised to Automating First Screening Interview, Conversation with Chatbot and Report Generation. Let's talk about interview. Within the whole hiring process, there may be a number of interviews in different levels. Each interview has different purposes and involves different types of questions and consume resources. It requires human interviewers their time for conducting and preparing the interviews to appraise the interviewee performance during the interview and select possible candidates. In traditional interview, the conversation follow a question and answer pattern. The interviewer will ask questions repetitively. Over time, conducting interviews consume a great deal of time and human resources. So why do we want to automate first screening interview? Because it usually involves general questions. It does not ask deep level questions, which is difficult to interpret by a machine. Also, the recent technologies and the trend of online interview offer a great opportunity for automating interview. So we think that first screening interview is automatable. Instead of occupying an interviewer's time for interviewing and reviewing, we may use chatbot for the interview. In this project, we aim to achieve interview automation via an interview system with chatbot for conducting first screening interviews in a time-efficient and less resource approach. We have found some researches for our project here. Here is a brief review of the objectives. We have to design the routine of the interview. There are 3 components we need to develop for the system, and we need to evaluate the system. Our main problem is to reduce the cost of interviewing by automating first screening interview. In order to do that, we have 3 sub-problems. First, we need to collect interviewee resume and extract the content for initial information gathering. Second, we need to acquire information via interview. Third, we need to integrate the information and visualize the content as a report. Therefore, our interview chatbot will be designed in voice-based communication approach. There will be a mobile application as a client of the chatbot and a web application for accessing the report.
So in the part of methodology, it's simply in 2 systems, chatbot system and web application system. And these are the core that our technology have improved. The mobile application and the database and the web application server and machine learning models and speech-to-text and text-to-speech. So let's talk about the step of uploading resume. We use a resume parser called Avinda API. So we can get the working experience and the skill set based on the resume. And those information will store into the Mongo database. And we also use a Firebase to store the audios and photos during the interview. And the mobile applications is a voice-based communication in the interview, which providing the UI and instructions, and the TCP protocol to connect it to the chatbot server, and take the photos and recording audios and upload those files to the Firebase. And let's talk about the chatbot server. The chatbot server providing some features, such as the keyword extraction and the summarization. Those features will use it in the data visualization in the report. And we also use the Google API, such as speech-to-text and text-to-speech. And we use a Python library called transformer hatching phase. And we use one of the classification, which is called zero-sort classification. So let's talk more about the zero-sort classification. It helps us to determine some following steps. Tell the interviewee to answer in the simple way if the chatbot don't understand what the interviewee answering, and determine is there any follow-up questions based on the labels. And let's talk about the web application. Web application is that the HR can review the interview reports. So all the question and answer during in the interview will show in the website. And this website also providing some features, such as the keyword extraction and highlighted those keywords, so the HR can easily understand what the content is talking about. And if the interview answer a very long question, the chatbot will try to summarize the answer into a shorter form. And those information from the resume will try to visit in a data visualization as a tree diagram.
Now, user evaluation, we do not use expert evaluation because it is not practicable. There's no standard of interviews. The expected result of an interview may differ in purposes or interviewers. So we will evaluate our system using user perception study by conducting observation and user survey. Here is the design of the evaluation plan. There are 4 steps in our evaluation. In our observation, users were confused when using the application. They started the interview without reading the instruction and tried to respond after the chatbot without using the buttons. They got lost when the interview was started without noticing it. They did not know what to respond. They also tend to respond in short instead of long sentences to the chatbots. For recording issues, we observed that the bad recording quality and poor articulation would cause the failure of speech recognition. For chatbot issues, the chatbot sometimes could not classify the labels and could not understand a topic. Also, the chatbot could not respond instantly during the interview. From the result of the user survey, our users think our chatbot is time efficient, work efficient, and effective. They think the chatbot can deliver voice clearly and ask reasonably questions. Also, they think our user interface works well. However, they think the chatbot sometimes cannot understand their answers and it does not respond quickly. According to one user, he thinks our chatbot is better than the chatbot he used before because our chatbot provides follow-up questions and other extra features. In the last part of the survey, we have asked our users how they think of chatbot interview. They would like to have chatbot interview in the future and they think chatbot interview will be a trend. In conclusion, interview automation has been successfully accomplished. The aim and objectives have been satisfied. A chatbot, a mobile application, and a web application are developed and integrated as a prototype system. Also, we have tested our system using user evaluation. For the limitations, resume parser could not process the content perfectly. We may need to correct the results further. The extraction result is highly depends on the structure or content of the resume. The chatbot has the issues of long response time and the model is not complex enough. For the mobile application, the user guide may be too simple, the user interface may be not intuitive enough. For the recommendation, in collecting interview resume data, we may use a more powerful tool or we could provide an online resume to interviewees. We can design the form in any structure to collect required information and regulate the result to make sure the information we need are acquired. For the model, we could train the model in further based on the original model, so we could acquire a better performance in understanding interviewees' speech and topic. For the mobile application, we may provide a better user guide and improve our user interface, or maybe a tutorial for using the chatbot and mobile application. In future work, we may want the chatbot has the capability to handle large number of interviews at the same time. If the interview is conducted at a company could provide a good microphone and quiet environment for better recording quality to avoid speech recognition problem. For the model, we could modify the model to suit in different interview scenarios. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching.